started playing music when I was probably 7 or 8, and I took piano lessons and stuck with it for a few years. Somehow got interested in like George Gershwin and wanted to learn how to play that, but never really considered myself a serious piano player. And then in college I picked up a guitar, a friend's guitar, and sort of fell in love with it and became obsessed with it. So I started playing guitar in college. I'm from North Carolina and grew up in a very good Southern family, so I think church music was probably an early musical influence, and specifically like organ music and just the sound of an organ and like the drones and the deep sounds of the organ. And also growing up listening to country music and like listening to the Grand Ole Opry radio show at my grandparents' house, and watching my grandfather play guitar. He played like in a sort of Chet Atkins or Merle Travis style, and I think that was, even though I never learned how to play from him, that definitely made an impact, and came back around later, my guitar playing. And did some touring and put out some records, and then gradually became more interested in more experimental music and improvising and with sound as much as with melody or rhythm, and playing with textures. And then eventually I kind of somehow found my way back to that music that was always in the background when I was really young, the country music and Piedmont blues and the folk, kind of folky country music of North Carolina. Started to seep into my playing when I started playing fingerstyle. So that was interesting to realize that music had been embedded in me when I was really young, even though I didn't learn how to play until I was basically, my 20s. Spent a lot of time outside, and Northern California is really great for that. It could be something that, like, an idea that comes to me is, swimming in the river or something like that. I lived in North Carolina until I moved out here about 8 years ago. Considered myself an East Coaster for a long time, and sort of maybe resisted like a West Coast identity. I've sort of noticed it, the influence of this place coming through in my music. I moved out here to go to Mills College and study electronic music, and one of the people who I studied with is Pauline Oliveros, who's a really important American composer, and she has this way of approaching sound and your surroundings in that everything that you hear around you at all times is a composition, like if you just stop and listen to it. So that's something that, like, that kind of attention to what is around me and what the possibilities are in any moment sonically, whether I have an instrument in my hand or not, I think is a big part of what I do now. Neunaber somehow came onto my radar when I was looking for ways to consolidate my pedal board. Essentially one pedal that was a multi-effects unit, but with a really simple interface, and with that EXP switch with the possibility of storing four effects and like multiple presets for each one. I just realized that they would be really helpful in achieving a lot of the sounds that I want and saving space on my pedal board. So with the Expanse pedal, I can essentially replace 3 or 4 pedals on my board and save a lot of space and have these really lush, great sounds, especially the reverbs. I really love the reverb sounds. So the shimmer is a big one that I use, and the kind of really, really deep resonant reverb sounds. I use a lot of tremolo, and when I'm touring, I don't know what I'm going to end up with for an amp a lot of times, so it's good to have all the reverb and tremolo and stuff on my partying.